Most of you know me, and I've been trying to talk about this for a long time, and I've been waiting until all the facts came out and everything else. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. I have nothing but the greatest honor and respect for police officers in this country. They have my complete support and respect because of the job they do. Now, again, without getting into too many details, I work with law enforcement. And some of the police officers I've worked with have been the greatest professionals that I've ever met in my life. However, that being said, I will call out police officers when I know they're doing something wrong, especially when that wrong costs lives, as it did in the case of Sonia Massey. Now, for those of you who don't know, now I'm not going to show you photos of that night or the video of the body camera footage because, of course, for respect for her family, and most importantly, because of YouTube rules, of course. Now, the officer who fired the shot, Officer Sean Grayson of the Sangamon County Sheriff's Department in Illinois, was the officer behind the trigger. Now, since he has been fired and is being charged with murder. Now, the body camera shows. Now, this is gut-wrenching in itself. The body camera shows that this woman opened the door and said, "Please don't hurt me." It's terrible that we have to say that to police officers now when African Americans have to encounter the police. Please don't hurt me. That's gut-wrenching in itself. That's where we are in this country, that we have to tell police officers, "Please don't hurt me." Anyway, during the encounter, there was some kind of shouting match or going on and everything else. There was a pot of water. The sheriff deputy said to put the water down. She did. She kept saying, "In the name of Jesus" and all that, the religious stuff. The sheriff threatened, "Before she put the water down, I'm going to shoot you in the effing face." That's on the body cam. "I'm going to shoot you in the effing face." The deputy followed up with that threat and shot her in the face. And again, I'm not going to show you the video of it because of YouTube rules and respect for the family. Now, just before she died, she said, "I'm sorry." Again, I have the greatest respect for police officers, but that respect ends when you do something as stupid as this. When you do something like this, respect for law enforcement and for that particular police officer ends, and he deserves to get everything he gets. Now again, he's being charged. He was fired from his position and charged. But I think that there's more to this story, unfortunately, that a lot of us need to know. This police officer was worked for 6 law enforcement agencies in 4 years. That's a staggering number, to me at least. 6 agencies in 4 years, which means he did something. The only reason why that happens, quite honestly, the only reason that happens is if this guy did something incredibly destructively wrong in those previous jobs of his. I mean, a person may move from city to city, job to job because of the city, because of this, that, and the other, and maybe that's the case. But 6 agencies in 4 years, 6 police departments in 4 years. That should be a red flag there, right there. Plus, being charged with driving under the influence, DUI, twice. Once is a suspension. Twice under law enforcement regulations would be the badge being taken away. How in the world does this guy have his own badge? How did he have his badge? Again, I have nothing but the greatest respect for law enforcement officers when they do the job right. When they do the job with honor, class, and dignity. When they put on the uniform each morning or each afternoon, each night. Say to themselves, I do everything I can for the police, for my city, for my town, for my country. Take off the uniform, go back to their families, go back to their homes, and say to themselves, I did the best I could as a police officer. Those are the officers I respect and honor. But officers like this, who are suspect, this guy is suspect in itself. This guy, how in the world do you work for 6 agencies in 4 years? If this guy were a Catholic priest and he goes from parish to parish in that kind of time, then something is really wrong and he has done something very, very wrong. For me, honestly, that should have just been a red flag when he got this job. 6 agencies in 4 years. And now his career is over because of an idiotic, foolish act. He's probably going to end up in prison for the rest of his life because of that foolish act that cost the life of an unarmed woman. And the joke of it is, she's the one who called the police because of a prowler. She's the one who called the cops. From what I'm reading in this information, she's the one who called the cops because of a neighborhood prowler. Now you tell me how screwed up that is. I think that every police officer in this country needs to speak up and speak out against crap like this. And again, I work with law enforcement, and I do my job with pride. And I look at these guys in their uniforms, and I look at them with pride. But if any of them cross the line like this man did, like a Derek Chauvin did, like so many others did, that respect is cut off, and you will be no longer recognized by me as a police officer, as a cop, as a law enforcement agent. You will be recognized only by me, only as a criminal, as this officer will be recognized for the rest of his life. And law enforcement agencies across the nation need to say that, need to make that clear. And I'm not trying to make this into a Donald Trump video. I am not. Please don't misunderstand me. I am not making this into a Trump video. However, Donald Trump has said multiple times that he wants to give police officers, in his words, we're going to give their power back. We're going to make them immune for prosecution. So, you're going to give immunity to a person who shot a woman in the face, a woman, mind you, that called the police because of a prowler. You're seriously going to give immunity to someone like that? Seriously? No wonder no one has credibility in law enforcement has been destroyed. No wonder. African Americans, unfortunately, and it's unfortunate I got to say this, but Afro Americans don't trust the police anymore because of things like this. And people like Donald Trump cheering it on. So you expect us to just take it up just take it? What exactly did this woman do wrong? And yes, I understand the old excuse of police officers are just human, they'll make mistakes. But when are we as a society going to hold them accountable for those mistakes? This isn't like stumbling on the ground, tripping over a cleat or something. This isn't about them taking money on the side or finding a $10 bill and pocketing it. A woman lost their life. She lost her life at the hands of a man who was supposed to be a police officer, an agent of law enforcement. And people like Donald Trump want to say, it doesn't matter. You're immune. It doesn't matter. So what? A woman's dead. Don't matter. Fight back against that. My brothers and sisters in law enforcement, fight against that mentality. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and if you want to take this as some kind of a threat, go right ahead. But if you go out there with that mentality that Donald Trump is going to give you blanket immunity, which means I can do whatever the hell I want, I can rob whatever I want, I can kill whatever I want, I can rape whoever I want, you're putting yourselves and every one of your law enforcement brothers and sisters at risk. Because that mentality is going to get heard on the street. Make no mistake about it. The streets, they listen and they watch every day. How you are on the streets matters. And if you think the streets aren't watching you, or you think the thug isn't watching you, or some lookout isn't watching you, or citizens aren't watching you, think again. Because at some point, this sheriff is going to be the reason why another officer has fallen. People like Derek Chauvin are going to be a reason why we will be wearing those black bands over the badge. Those mourning badges. And they don't need to be. Go out there with a mentality that I'm going to keep everyone on the streets as safe as I possibly can. If I make a mistake, I have to be a man or a woman enough. I have to be a police officer enough to own up to those mistakes. Especially if it costs lives. Because the very second you try to say, it doesn't matter, I got immunity. The moment you say that, the moment you think that, the moment that enters your mind, you are going to walk into a hornet's nest. And believe me, when the time comes, there'll be no way out of it. Stay safe, my law enforcement brethren. Stay vigilant. Stay honorable. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.